Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're shifting focus a bit. We're going to share a collection of real stories, truly terrifying accounts of obsession and stalking. These aren't just tales, they're true experiences that really leave you unsettled. They shine a light on the chilling reality of these situations. We want to set the tone for, well, a captivating but definitely suspenseful narrative today.
Indeed. And these stories are quite a stark reminder, aren't they? How quickly someone's sense of safety can just shatter. Especially when boundaries are aggressively crossed, it's the persistent fixation that's so unsettling.
Absolutely. So let's jump into our first account. We're calling this one the apartment stalker. It starts with a 19-year-old man, just moved into his first apartment. New place, new start, you know. His upstairs neighbor, Jen, well, her violent boyfriend had just been arrested. So after he was gone, Jen comes down, approaches our narrator, asks for his number, says it's just in case the ex comes back, even though she knew he had a girlfriend, Sue.
Already a bit of a boundary push there, asking for the number under that pretext.
Right. And then the first call comes. Before midnight, it's Jen making a very direct, explicit proposition. He turns her down straight away, reminds her about Sue.
Okay, so he set a clear boundary.
You'd think. But 2 hours later, she calls again. This time she's drunk, crying, demanding to know why he doesn't find her attractive. She starts insulting Sue, telling him he has to break up with her. Just incessant, slurred rambling. He had to hang up.
And that rejection, even though it was the second time, often fuels things in these cases.
It seems like it did, because seconds after he hung up, the banging started. On his door, Jen screaming and crying outside his apartment for over an hour, middle of the night. He had no choice, really. He called the police, and this is where it gets, well, manipulative. When the police arrive, Jen spins this whole story, claims they had been intimate, that he'd kicked her out without her stuff, a complete fabrication.
That's unfortunately quite typical. The distortion of reality, casting themselves as the victim. It's a tactic, confuses the situation, makes it harder for the actual victim to get help. It's classic gaslighting, really.
Exactly. The police search his place, find nothing, obviously, and leave. He gets hardly any sleep, goes to work, comes back later that day, and finds his apartment completely spotless. Vacuum clean, and he didn't even own a vacuum. There were freshly baked cookies on the counter.
Wow. That's incredibly invasive. Beyond just creepy.
And then the absolute horror moment, he goes into his bedroom, and Jen is there, naked, propositioning him again. He just ran out, called the police immediately.
Understandable reaction. Pure terror.
She was arrested for breaking and entering, trespassing, spent a couple of nights in jail, but, it didn't stop her. The fixation was just relentless. For weeks, she kept harassing him, his friends too, and Sue, who were staying over for support, constant knocking, arguing. She even made these bizarre suggestions to Sue, offered to, share him, then tried to convince Sue to leave him so they could run off together and be, quote, lesbian Bonnie and Clyde.
The delusion is just profound, a complete detachment from reality and social norms.
Jen eventually got evicted, at her big protest. As the police dragged her out, she'd painted herself pink and was wearing only a green bikini top. Another arrest, obviously. So our narrator, he's had enough. He moves. 10 miles away, unlisted number, unlisted address, trying to disappear.
It shows that disturbing progression, doesn't it? From unwanted attention to boundary violations, home invasion, harassment. Despite legal consequences, that rejection just seems to fuel the fire for someone like Jen. It fits patterns seen in conditions like erotomania, maybe, where there's this fixed false belief someone else is in love with them.
And unbelievably, it wasn't over. Months after he moved, she found him. Again, followed him home from work one day, waited for Sue to leave, then just appeared at his new door.
That persistence is terrifying, the effort involved.
He absolutely refused to let her in. Stood his ground. She had another breakdown on his doorstep. He had to call the police again. Another arrest for her. After that, things went quiet for a bit. Years, actually. He moved 3 states away. Broke up with Sue, but that was unrelated to Jen. Then, she found him online. MySpace first.
Ah, the digital footprint.
Ignored friend requests. Then came a flood of emails. Just long, rambling, no punctuation, stream of consciousness stuff. He ignored it all. Then, 2005, she popped up on Facebook.
Still fixated years later across state lines.
It keeps going. 2006, Sue gets in touch with him, tells him Jen showed up at her workplace looking for information about him. Security had to physically drag Jen out.
She's widening the net, targeting people connected to him, another escalation.
Then, 2008, this is really scary, Jen finds his younger brother's Facebook profile. She travels 3 states to his college, shows up at his dorm room, threatens him. He kicked her out, called the police. But apparently nothing was really done.
That's incredibly frustrating. The system sometimes fails to connect the dots or act preemptively.
6 months after the dorm incident, it turns violent. Jen confronts his brother while he's working at a bar, gets right in his face. His boss, a woman, steps in to protect him. She ends up punching Jen in the mouth. Jen lost 2 teeth.
Wow. A direct physical confrontation.
Yeah. Led to a lawsuit, then a countersuit. And finally, through that legal process, Jen was declared mentally incompetent, placed in a mental health facility.
Took a violent incident and legal intervention to finally get her into mandated treatment.
Then, jump to 2012. He gets a call. It's Jen's counselor. Jen's been released. She's on medication now. The counselor asks him if he'd meet with Jen to, help her put the past behind her.
That's a highly questionable therapeutic request, putting the victim in that position.
He politely refused. Explained he now had a wife, a child. He couldn't revisit that trauma. The counselor's response was, frankly, astonishing. She called him a terrible person.
Unbelievable. Blaming the victim for setting a boundary to protect himself and his family.
The story has a tragic end. In 2013, Jen committed suicide. Jumped off a cliff in Arizona. Her body wasn't found for months. It's just haunting. Over a decade of this intense fixation, all apparently stemming from him just being polite initially, and the devastation of untreated mental illness.
A truly tragic and disturbing outcome for everyone involved.
Okay, let's move to our next account, the chemistry lab stalker. This one comes from a 19-year-old woman, community college in Oregon. She was paired with a guy named Brian for a chemistry lab. He was older, early 40s, seemed socially awkward at first, but things escalated pretty quickly. He'd talk nonstop, latching on to any common interests, invited himself to lunch, started waiting for her outside the bathroom, popping up everywhere on campus, even on days he didn't have class. She gave him her number, just for lab notes if she missed class. Then came the nonstop texts. She initially thought maybe he was just lonely, wanted a friend.
That initial ambiguity can be confusing, trying to give someone the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, but then the behavior shifted, got undeniably creepy. Flirty comments calling her beautiful, asking if she had a boyfriend. Then came the touching, her arm, her waist. He even massaged her shoulders from behind once in the lab.
Physical boundary crossing, red flags getting bigger.
And this really disturbing joke he kept making that she looked 15. He actually said to her once, "You're young enough to be my hot daughter."
That's incredibly inappropriate and predatory language.
It got worse. Increasingly vulgar remarks about his abnormally large dick. He'd ask joking questions about her virginity. If she pushed back or showed discomfort, he'd just call her a prude. Around the same time, he starts showing up at her workplace. She never told him where she worked. He would pretend it was just a coincidence.
The coincidental appearances are classic stalking behavior, manufacturing proximity.
The big turning point happened in the school library. He offered her his computer to use, and she describes it as a moment of, quote, stupid curiosity. She checked his browsing history.
And this brings in that digital dimension again, what someone does online revealing their offline intentions.
Exactly. What she found was horrifying. His Tumblr page, lots of reblogs of really young-looking girls, but the worst part, posts written about her. He described their first meeting in detail, called her a vulnerable young girl, said she looked very young, but also that she was technically too old for his liking. There were posts fantasizing about having sex with her, about her pleasuring herself. He wrote about her reactions to his gross comments, twisting them, and he admitted stalking her social media, finding her work address through Facebook.
That's chilling. Documenting his obsession and his methods online, it's a violation on a whole other level. The premeditation is clear.
Her reaction was immediate. She called the police. But they told her, basically, their hands were tied unless he physically endangered her.
And there's that frustrating reality again. The law often feels reactive, not proactive in these situations. It leaves the victim feeling helpless, knowing the person is dangerous, but unable to get official protection until potentially it's too late. It's a form of secondary victimization, really.
Totally. So she took matters into her own hands as best she could. Talked to her professor, got switched to a different lab day, changed her whole schedule, tried to spend as little time on campus as possible, just avoided him completely. Then about a month passes. The climax. Her roommate is coming home. As she gets to their apartment door, someone grabs her from behind.
Oh, God.
Luckily, her roommate was tough, had taken self-defense. She fought back hard, kicked the attacker, managed to break free and get away. And the chilling detail. The narrator, the one Brian was obsessed with, was supposed to be working that day, but had called in sick.
He might have been lying in wait for her.
That's what she thinks. The police arrived, searched the area near their door. They found a backpack. Inside, rope, a knife, duct tape, and Rohypnol.
Oh, abduction kit. Clearly premeditated for violence.
She knew immediately it had to be Brian. She showed the police his Tumblr. And there was a new post, ranting about how she was avoiding him, how he believed she must have a new boyfriend, and detailing his plan to confront her because he believed she truly loved him and they would run away together.
That erotomanic-like delusion again. Total break from reality.
Brian was arrested. And when they checked his computer, they found child pornography. That discovery ensured he'd be imprisoned for a significant time. But the victim is left with that haunting thought. What if I didn't call in sick? What if he grabbed me instead? Would I still be alive?
It's a terrifying question. The what-ifs in these situations are profound.
Okay, story 3, the pool stalker. This one starts young. The narrator is just 10 years old, taking swimming lessons with her brother. She's in the spa area one day and notices this man just staring at her, describes him vividly. Tall, thin, pointy nose, button-like eyes, short gray hair, really red skin. He just stared. Made her uncomfortable, so she left. Soon after, she starts seeing him everywhere. Not just the pool, grocery stores, the mall, outside her school, and always at her Friday swimming lessons. She was young. She thought maybe she was imagining it, overreacting, so she didn't tell her dad. She even remembers once being in a department store, looking down aisles, and seeing him at the end of every single one.
That feeling of being constantly watched, especially for a child, is terrifying. And predators rely on that hesitation, that self-doubt.
Then came a really obvious red flag. He started carrying a camera everywhere, always wearing the same black outfit, just watching her, taking pictures. She didn't know for sure then. Her friends noticed him too at the mall one day, pointed him out. A friend's oldest sister told her, "You need to tell mall security." So they did. And as soon as security started walking towards him, he just vanished, left immediately.
That immediate flight when authority approaches is telling. He knew his behavior was wrong, was testing boundaries. It's insidious the way groomers operate, exploiting innocence, normalizing their presence until they can escalate.
Time passes. 2 years. She'd sort of pushed him to the back of her mind, almost forgotten. Then, the really shocking incident. She's called down to her school office, and he's there, standing with the office lady, claiming to be her uncle, saying he was there to pick her up early.
Oh, that's bold and incredibly dangerous. Direct attempt at access.
She said she felt instantly sick, recognized him immediately, but she was brave, stood tall and said very clearly to the officewoman, "This man is not my uncle." Then just turned around and walked straight back to her classroom.
Good for her. Trusting her gut and speaking up clearly, that likely saved her.
But he didn't give up easily. He started appearing outside her school during lunch breaks, just standing across the street waving at her, trying to lure her over with chocolate bars. Classic child baiting.
Persistent, even after being directly rebuffed at the office.
The school eventually noticed this pattern, thankfully, and contacted her parents. Her dad was understandably distraught and furious, demanded police involvement, wanted a restraining order immediately, and that's when the police investigation uncovered the full horrifying truth. The man was a convicted sex offender. And the camera. They confiscated it, found hundreds and hundreds of photos of her. Some were taken from outside her own house, zoomed in right into her bedroom windows.
Chilling. The extent of the surveillance, the violation of her safest space, her home.
They got the restraining order. And thankfully, she says she hasn't seen him since. But what a terrifying experience for a child. The meticulous planning involved.
Absolutely. A stark reminder to always listen to children when they say someone makes them uncomfortable.
Our fourth story, the subway stalker. This comes from a 20-year-old woman working at a Subway restaurant. Describes herself as generally kind to everyone, even people who initially creep her out. A man starts coming in daily for lunch, mid-30s to 40s. He becomes fixated on her stretched earlobes and piercings, and he develops this habit. He orders, then sits at a table for maybe 2 hours, just staring at her, nonstop, while she's working.
That prolonged staring is a form of intimidation, making the workplace feel unsafe.
He kept trying to get her number. Said he had plugs and tunnels, like for her ears, that he wanted to give her. She consistently, politely declined. Every time. Then one day, things escalate. She's alone in the store. Her manager had run to the bank. She hears the bell over the door chime, like someone came in. Looks up. Nobody's there. Then she glances outside just in time to see the man quickly walking past the window.
Testing the waters. Seeing if she was alone.
Seems like it, because immediately after, her phone rings. The store phone. It's him. He asks, "This is the girl with the nice ears, right?" Then he asks if she's alone in the back room.
Oh, confirming her vulnerability? That's frightening.
Her gut instinct just screamed. She hung up immediately, texted her manager to hurry back. He calls again, starts asking, as she put it, very weird questions. Things like, what would she do if she was locked in a room with him? Did she have a boyfriend? Why was she playing hard to get?
Blaming her for his obsession, twisting her polite refusals into encouragement in his mind.
Her manager gets back, just as the phone rings a third time. The manager takes this call. The narrator never found out exactly what the stalker said on that call, but she saw the look on her manager's face after she told him firmly that if he called again or showed up again, they were calling the police. A look of pure chills. She hoped that was the end of it.
But rejection, especially a firm one involving threats of police, can unfortunately trigger escalation in some stalkers. They feel they're losing control.
Exactly. It wasn't the end. About a week later, she's finishing her shift, clocking out. She looks out towards the parking lot, toward her car, and she sees him, standing right beside her car, peering into the windows.
Waiting for her.
And then the horrifying realization hits her. She'd forgotten to lock her back car door earlier. It was unlocked. And as she watched, frozen, he crawled into her back seat and shut the door, trying to hide.
My God. Lying in wait inside her car.
Her manager saw it too, reacted instantly, locked the front door of the subway so he couldn't get back in if he got out. Called 911 immediately. The police arrived quickly. They had to physically drag the man out of her back seat, and when he searched it, a butcher knife, rope, and a rag soaked with chloroform.
Oh my God. An abduction and assault kit. His intentions were terrifyingly clear.
Her final thought on it is just stark.
If I hadn't looked up when I did, I would probably be dead right now.
She's likely right. That quick glance saved her life. It's absolutely chilling how close that was. Okay, our final story today. The rooftop stalker. It's short, but profoundly disturbing. It involves two close friends, women living together on the 5th floor of a small apartment building, Lower East Side. Their apartment windows faced the roof of the building next door, which was only 4 stories high. Because of the height difference, he felt pretty private. Rarely bothered drawing curtains, often left windows unlocked.
A sense of security based on the physical layout.
One night, they're both in their separate bedrooms. Suddenly, they hear this loud crash from outside. They both run to the living room window, look down, 5 stories, and see the dark shape of a man sprawled on the ground in the alleyway below. Dead.
Oh, horrific. Just finding a body like that.
The police arrive, investigate. They find the man, confirm he died instantly from the fall, and lying next to his body in the alleyway, a wooden plank, a long, sturdy board.
A plank. Why?
The police pieced it together. The horrifying reality. The man had been watching them from the roof of the adjacent 4-story building. That night, he had tried to cross the gap between the buildings, from that lower roof to their 5th floor window, using only that wooden plank as a makeshift bridge. He slipped and fell to his death.
He was trying to break into their apartment from the roof using a plank. That's desperate and incredibly dangerous.
And the final, truly unsettling detail. When the police searched the man's body, they found a small knife in his pocket.
So he was attempting a home invasion, armed, and they had absolutely no idea they were even being watched.
None at all. Completely unaware. The trauma for those two friends was, as you can imagine, immense. This happened back in 2012. They don't live together anymore, not in that building, but they both still say they have trouble being alone in their homes, even now.
That makes perfect sense. It fundamentally shatters your sense of safety in your own space, realizing you were targeted, observed, without any knowledge. The psychological impact is deep and lasting, even without direct contact with the stalker himself. It's the ultimate violation of privacy and security.
It really is unimaginable. These stories we've shared today, from Jen's decade-long fixation, starting from politeness, to Brian's digital stalking and violent plans, the pool stalker's grooming, the subway stalker waiting in the car, and this rooftop attempt. They all paint this chilling picture, don't they? The relentless nature of obsession and the huge, often permanent impact it has on the victims' lives. It's a stark reminder of, maybe, a vulnerability we don't always think about in our day-to-day lives.
It absolutely is. And I think these accounts really hammer home the importance of awareness, of trusting your instincts. When something feels off or unsettling, even if it seems minor at first, pay attention. Because true horror, as these stories show, isn't usually about ghosts or monsters. It's often found in the unexpected, determined, and frightening persistence of other people. And we need to be prepared to recognize it and, crucially, respond to it.
Well said. Thank you for joining us for this unsettling deep dive today. We really hope these two accounts act as a powerful reminder. Stay aware, stay vigilant, and if these stories gripped you, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe to our channel, Horror Docs. We'll bring you more chilling true accounts. Thanks for listening.